Okay, what do you want to know?
I have a serious sports question here.
Okay.
It seems like you jabbed the Patriots a little bit in there. Do you think that their Super Bowl championship is tainted?
No, I think they're a great team. I think they're a great team. I was just looking to search for something, and that just popped into my head. No, I actually saw Robert Kraft, and I actually rooted for him in the Super Bowl, and they did a great job. But I understand Tom Brady didn't show up down there, so I don't know what gives on that.
Slightly more serious question. You're among
Well,
several.
that was extremely serious.
It could have been. You're among several Midwestern governors considering running for president. Is there something about governing in that part of the country that gives you a unique advantage over governors from other states, say Florida and New Jersey?
Well, I think it's look. What I have that other people don't have is the experience in everything. Both having been a legislator, I understand how legislators think. And I know that over time, legislators don't like executives. I mean, I was there. I mean, that's just part of it, and how legislators work and think. Secondly, in Congress, I served on the on the Armed Services Committee, so I had 18 years and a whole lifetime now of national security interests and experience. And I was also chairman of the Budget Committee, and we spent 10 years of my life to balance the federal budget. And then I went out for 10 years and learned a whole lot and had that walk in the woods, never thinking I was going to be walking back. And then I inherited a state that was really in trouble, and with a great team, including people in the legislature, we were rebuilding the state. So I think it's a unique resume, but so what? I mean, we'll see how people feel about it.
But there's nothing about serving in Ohio, that region of the country.
Well, I'll tell you this about Ohio. That's a big-time place to be an executive. I mean, you've got 11.5 million people. You have tremendous diversity. Look, Ohio is a microcosm of the country. There's not a better state in America where if somebody came to America and said, I want to understand the country, where should I go? You look at Ohio. You go to Ohio. We've got everything. Rich, poor, black, white, I mean, urban, suburban, rural. I mean, we got everything there. So, and being the governor of Ohio, you know, one day you just never know what you're going to find. So you have to make a lot of decisions, and you have to make them quickly, and you have to make them and learn how to do it in a way that the solutions make sense. So I think it's been a great experience. I respect all of these people that are thinking about doing it because it's really hard, and their families are, you know, get put on the line. It's a real long, hard process. The only thing I'm saying is, look, I've got experience that's unique to me, and maybe people will like it, and maybe they won't. I mean, my life will be okay. I'd be disappointed if it doesn't work out, and I say I don't have the resources or the will, or not the will, but the resources, the path to win. But, you know, I'll be okay. I'm not going to change anything. I'm not going to flip my positions, or, you know, I'm not going to do any of that.
Governor Kasich. Governor, do you think that, given
Pulled you out there.
you talked about being the most experienced, do you think that there's a void in the race that you could fill, both in terms of that experience but also your messaging?
Let me say it again. I'm the most experienced, period.
Governor, how do you square the fact that you're in a big fight with the GOP legislator at home over the budget, and you're thinking about running for president as sort of a uniter and a problem solver?
Well, that's all part of the process. We've just through one House now, and we have a Senate to go through. And, you know, sometimes you got to be very firm. And I've been kind of a uniter all my life. Look what we've done in Ohio. We grounded the B-2 and limited production of it. We got the budget balanced, and I negotiated with Clinton, but I was also involved in a government shutdown. So everything isn't, kumbaya. You keep your principles, you fight on them, you try not to demonize anybody else, and at the end of the day, you can bring people together. Look, I had one lady that stormed out on my first State of the State address, and she came to see me about human trafficking. I said, well, we'll do it in about 2 months. She almost fell off the couch. We passed one of the best bills in the country. I went to her district to announce it. She was hugging me, saying I was great. She turned around a few months later and was bashing me in the election. I love her. Okay?
Governor Kasich, you got 26% of the black vote in the governor's race. You talked about 20% set aside for African Americans. You are by far the only GOP candidate who can get a large slice of the Democratic vote in the general election. And also, last question.
Well, how did you know that? Did somebody make a note on that?
Ohio has had 8 presidents out of Ohio. Which U.S. president would you be closest to if you were elected?
Well, why don't we just talk presidents at large, okay? There are a lot of them I admire. Well, I admire Lincoln. You know why? Lincoln went through pure hell. His family, the body count in the country. What an amazing man. George Washington could have been king, gave it up. realized that power should come from the bottom up. Ronald Reagan. I mean, I knew Reagan. I campaigned for Reagan in 1976. Why was he so great? He's not the caricature they paint as him today. Remember, he used to drink with Tip O'Neill. They used to make deals together. Reagan was a guy who was, he reassured Americans. They didn't believe any bad about him, really. They said, you know, the guy cares about us. He gets them. So those are a few people that I like. Harry Truman. You know, somebody said to me, you know, sometimes you're a little blunt and you know, bristle and all that stuff. Well, somebody also called me up and said there's two guys that they think of that way, Henry Ford and Harry Truman. Not a bad group, you know. So, look, at the end of the day, we'll see how it goes. I know you won't all believe this, but I'm really amazed to be here. You know, I'm standing here at this Atlantic. It's one of the greatest publications in the world. 20 million people a week read it. I got all these people standing around wanting to ask me questions. My dad carried mail on his back. I mean, it's an amazing country. So I'm going to do the best I can and see what happens. And if people feel that I can help improve the country, I'll be thrilled. And if they say, hey, not this time or never, you know, I'm still governor of Ohio, and that ain't bad, as Ed Koch used to say. Yes.
Governor Kasich, do you support the changes to Social Security that